What's up, Quakes fans? We're back with another episode of Tectonic Takes. I'm here with my two very good friends. I almost said three. I always have Ivan, on the mind here. But we have Devon and Saz. Devon, how you doing?
Pretty good. I mean, Ivan's here in spirit, but
Yeah, he is.
I'm also here finally,
Yeah, it's been a
back on
minute.
the grind.
We've missed you, Devon. How have you been?
Pretty good. Just catching up on a lot of school and personal stuff behind the scenes. So, yeah, it's good to be back. Happy to be here with you guys.
I'm super happy I don't have school. Unlike Saz, I think you're still going through it. Saz, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've traveled a lot this month between going to LA and then I've been going back and forth from like Fresno to the Bay Area. And then I'm driving down to Santa Barbara this weekend for a friend's graduation. But it's almost there.
Saz, I wasn't here last episode. Did you talk about the experience of you getting SB shirt?
Yeah, I talked about it a bit. Yeah.
Okay, so
I can recap quickly if you have any questions or anything.
yeah, I mean, like that conversation must have been like, how do you feel asking him? Like, how did you set up that situation in the first place?
So I saw him after the game before LA. I don't remember who we played. It was like a Saturday, and we see him after the game,
Is it
and
Houston?
yeah, it was. And then he talks to us for a little bit, and then he's like, "Oh, you guys going to LA?" And then I'm like, "Yeah, we'll see you at Stanford," because like none of us are driving down to LA, so it gets a little bit of a laugh, and then we're talking for a little bit, and then he walks away, and then I'm like, "Oh, I just came to my mind. I gotta ask." I'm like, "SB, if I actually drive all the way down to LA, will you give me your jersey?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No, no, no, no. If I really drive all that way, will you give me your jersey?" He's like, "If I can see you, if I can actually see you." So I'm like, well, I was going to Fresno to see my girlfriend this weekend anyway, so instead of Friday, I'll go Thursday. So I text some of my LA friends. I'm like, hey, can I stay the night? They're like, yep. So I get a ticket behind the goal. I make a fake jersey with my name on the back. So I could
Your
do a
specialty?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I could do a jersey swap with him. So I drive down early in the morning and like I'm posting on like my personal Instagram, so I'm tagging him and the Earthquakes, and I'm like, I need to see if they see this because I don't want him to forget. I see that he sees the first post. I'm like, all right, he can't deny it now. And then I get to LA, I get to the Galaxy Stadium pretty early. I get in there, and then warm ups come, and he comes right over to me at warm ups. He's like, where are you going to be sitting? So I tell him where I'm going to sit. Game goes on, blah blah. I'm like, well, I'm already praying we're not losing because I don't want to be the first loss for them. I'm like, oh god, I really want to make sure we're in a good mood. So yeah, we go, we win, and then it's after the game, and like he goes and thanks the ultras on the other side because I'm behind the goal, and then he goes over to the bench because like he was chosen to do an interview, so he's doing like an interview, and I'm like, oh my god, and then he's slowly walking over, and we kind of make half eye contact, and then he just looks at the ground. I'm like, oh no, no, like I think he's gonna walk away, but then he like starts jogging over, and yeah, we do the jersey exchange. Like I take it off, we take a photo. He was super kind. We talked a little bit after. And you know what's funny? Like I've heard like the jersey was like sweaty. It was a little wet. And I always joke that Christian Espinoza is like the best smelling person on our team because like they always shower after and then like he wears like cologne or whatever. I kid you not. Like I didn't smell his jersey, but I threw the jersey in my car as I'm driving back to my friend's house, and you like if something's smelly, like it kind of like takes up the car. It smelled like cologne. It smelled so good in my car. It was like an air freshener. I couldn't believe after playing, I think he played 70, 80 minutes that game, it still smelled so good. It was like I don't know. And so I think that's his best attribute. But yeah, it was
You
super
know,
sick.
that's a feeling that Abram and I have yet to experience. I think after both of our experiences of owning player worn jerseys,
Yeah.
we've had ups and downs with Musk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Devon has had the much worst of it. They Walls barely played, so the shorts that I have of his are not. They're just fine, for the most part. I think he wore them on the bench. Devon's was not fine. This is very very gross. But that's the kind of insight you can expect when you come to the Tectonic Takes
Yeah.
podcast. We'll tell you how all the players smell, and what articles of clothing of theirs we have. Um, but yeah, it says you were talking about like not being able to like remember exactly who we played or like what was going on because it's been a minute. Like we've had 9 games in the month of May, and I haven't been to the stadium in a while. I haven't been watching on TV, and it feels like this is off season. Like for how condensed the schedule was to now have a bye week is like that's insane. Um, but yeah. we have some international call-ups. I didn't get to see the international games. I only have like Apple TV and Max, and that doesn't even show soccer. So, do you guys get to see any of the international matches that happened this weekend, or whenever they happen?
I haven't been able to catch anything international, hardly anything domestic either. Unfortunately, I've got a pretty busy schedule. Actually, I'm up for promotion at work, so I'm trying really hard to
Congrats.
to match the energy.
Yeah, congrats.
And I'm basically there, but well, I don't want to jinx anything. We'll see. But that being said, I watched maybe 5 to 10 minutes of the U.S. national team game, and I've received a lot of text messages about that game. And yeah, it's not nice to see us losing to Turkey. And I think I just saw a stat that said Mauricio Pochettino is the first U.S. manager to lose three straight in a very long time for U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, to call that an international game was crazy. If it was like 11 Turkey fans versus 11 US fans, I still think I would have been shocked at how bad that game was. It's cool to see Max Arfstrom play and get some good minutes. Good for him. I saw Buda got, I think, 45 for his national team. I've been seeing Joseph post a ton about his national team. And then I watched like the penalty shootout for Spain versus Portugal. I know none of the Quakes featured in that, but yeah, that's about all I watched. I can't believe like I always think this U.S. national team is really over and they need to win me back. But oh my God, that was, and I know this is a lot of our B guys, but this was shockingly bad. This is like it's incredible how it shocks me how bad we are every time.
I mean, I didn't get to see that match, but I did see that Arda Güler kind of was gifted a goal. Like they kicked it off him into the own goal. That's a ridiculous. You can't like. I was watching it. I was like, I genuinely think I would do better because I would just kick the ball really hard up the field. Like that was
Wasn't that
crazy.
like with the Zenozone 6 too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
take away. I'm serious. Take away the goals, or even have it be a game where we won 7-0. It was such an awful game. It was so awful. Like we seriously could have won that 7-0, and I would have been like, "That's the worst win I've ever seen in my life."
I can't wait to watch them play Trinidad and Tobago here on our own home turf.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Somebody who missed out on international duty, who may have saved the day. I don't know. With how he's playing for us, he could have gotten a hat trick. Devon Jones ended up getting an injury. It wasn't anything serious, but it was enough to keep him out of the international camp, which is was devastating, honestly, because his career has been up and down. He's finally on the up, and then when he's getting recognized for his good performances, he gets the injury, and that ultimately probably kept him out of the camp. But yeah, with that being said, we've cooked up something special for you guys today. We are going to be talking about our top 10 players of the season so far. This was Saz's idea. Saz, can you explain how it's going to work?
Yeah, so we're gonna go one by one. Actually, I even have Ivan's list, so I'll read his off first. But we're just gonna list who we think has been like if we were to rank so far the 10 most influential best players of just this season, not ability, not whatever, just this season so far. Starting at 10, and then we'll work down through each person's list. We'll kind of interject, talk to each other, but yeah, then we'll kind of compare, and then we'll go one by one on the people. So I'll start with Ivan's list here. At number 10, he had Buddha. I think that's solid.
Fair.
Yeah,
That's
I think
fair.
he's been doing well. Number 9, we have Romney, who I think has been one of the leaders of the back. So
Can't argue with that. Yeah.
yeah, and we'll go a little quicker through his because he's not here to defend himself, so I don't want to make any points he doesn't. So 8, he has Martinez. 7, Daniel. 6, Mooney. 5, he's got Harksey. And now number 4, this is the one that shocked me a little bit, so I actually asked him if I could get an explanation on this one. He has Dewan Jones at number 4. He said, and I actually have the text here, he just feels like the impact has been immediate, and it's also, and this is I think the best point he made, it's allowing Espinoza to play in his preferred position, which I think is a really solid point. Number 3, he has LaRue. Number 2, he has Chicho, and then number 1, he has Espinoza.
Yeah, I mean, Dewan is the only one who's a little bit high, but also it's not that high. Like he has been really freaking good for us. So I'm not super mad at that list. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I told him I told him the exact same thing. Like I respect it, and I think all his reasoning is really valid and good points. For me personally, Dewan hasn't played long enough to cement that in for me.
I think for a good, that's an overall good, like solid top 10. Maybe like switch around a couple of players here and there, but like, yeah,
I
it's
I figured that'll be most of us. Yeah,
yeah, I can sense a possible trend here.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right, do
Um,
one of you want to go next?
yeah, I'll go next if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
My number 10 is going to be kind of controversial, but we're going to just go through it. My number 10 is Jamar Ricketts.
Oh
And
my
I'm
God.
going to defend him a little bit. I'm going to defend this pick, okay? Because he has had really bad moments. His defensively, the way he stands, the way he tracks back, not good enough. But on the other end of the field, I think he's had a lot of upside. I think there's a lot of potential to be had. And I couldn't think of anyone else for the top 10. I didn't want to put Judd because he's had like a good few games, and I appreciate Judd, but I wasn't ready
Uh,
for him there.
I agree with like at least the offense points. I don't even think he's been terrible defensively, and like he's my best friend, so I really like him. My problem with that is like he's played like a 15th of the season.
I
He's
understand.
played like three
I
games
couldn't
total.
think of anyone who I felt like comfortable, so I was like, you know what? Let's do something to make him
Look,
to cause some chaos.
I like Ricketts, and I think he should be starting. Honestly, well, maybe not with Dewan now, but at least I thought he should have been starting. I still think he should start with Costa. But yeah, it's just been like he's started like two games, maybe three, but two of those were like garbage time rotation games. So, but yeah, all right. What do you got nine?
Yeah, yeah. So number 9, I think Buddha. I think that's standard.
Okay.
Then I have Muni. Been pretty, decent. Uh, then I have at number 7 Joseph. I think that he's provided really good goals. He has won us games, but he has been out a lot, and that puts him down. It didn't put Jamar down, but it put Joseph down.
Mhm.
Then we have Dewan Jones at number 6. I think that makes more sense. He's been very impactful in the time he's been here. Then I have. Now I'm thinking about this. Harks might be low, but I have John, not John Harks, Ian Harks at number 5.
Oh, okay.
Um, big player. Probably could be higher. But my next one is, you guys might be surprised how low he is Chicho. I have Chicho low because he has not gotten enough games because of his injuries. He's been very good, but I think the three above him have been better. Uh, this is where I'm like a little bit like, I should have done better on this. I have Daniel at 3. Daniel's super impactful. Is like one of the best players on the pitch because of like, I don't have to explain why Daniel is a good football player. That's what he said.
I agree with that, but if your reasoning for Chicho being lower through injury, Daniel's been injured like half the season. Like I agree on
Yeah,
impact, I agree like ability and all that, how important Daniel is, but he's been gone half the season.
yeah. No, I can't say that this is the best list. So
Yeah.
what I will say is that Devin and I both misread what says asked us to do. So we both. I mean, I made a top 10 list of all time, and I had like stats and accolades and all that. And then so I was like, no, that's not what I wanted. And I was like, oh, you're right. I misread that. So then, real quick, right before we started, I put a top 10. But I think I'm doing okay so far for
Yeah, yeah.
I low-key want to
yeah.
hear your overall top 10 at
Yeah,
some
yeah, we can
point.
do that after, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So after Daniel, this is gonna tear the roof off the place. Bolaroo is number 2 for me.
You
I
didn't have
think
Zizou at one? You know, you don't
no,
use
not quite.
Zizou.
No, I think the next player is even better than Zizou. No, no, he's been a revelation. He's been huge, huge for the team. I think that a lot of the good things that happen in the team are because of Bolaroo, and we're not really missing Jackson nearly as much as I thought we were, because Bolaroo just stepped up so much. He's not just providing offensive quality and stuff like that, but he's also huge in interceptions, and he's just a huge player for us this year. And then obviously, I don't think anyone's surprised. Number 1, Cristiano Espinosa.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not even mad at that LaRue shout. I think he's been, like you said, I think he's
Okay,
been phenomenal.
I'm
Like,
I'm glad I didn't have to fight for him because I do
yeah.
believe Bo Larue's been that big for us. But yeah, Devin, I'm excited to hear yours.
I mean, after hearing both y'all's top tens,
We will roast you for it.
including Ivan, yeah, my top 10 feels a little skewed, and if I were to redo this list, it would probably be a little different. But I'm gonna back myself here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna back myself
And
on the current list I got.
It's okay because this is just how we feel. This isn't
Exactly,
this
exactly.
isn't anything but how we feel.
So I'm gonna start off with number 10 being Romney.
Okay.
I put Romney as number 10. I mean, he's been pretty solid in the back line. You know, there's a reason why he's making start after start. He's made a couple of small mistakes here and there, but you can't fault him for too much. Number 9, very controversial. I put Preston Judd. In terms of consistency, yes, we can argue that Preston Judd may or may not make anyone else's top 10 in the Quakes fan base.
I think you put him any higher than I got to go to your house and be like, Devon, we're doing a psychological analysis. Like, are you okay, Devon? Is Judd holding you at gunpoint? No.
Yeah, he's actually right behind this wall right now.
I appreciate it, though. I appreciate that.
No, but, I wanted to shout out Judd just because of his recent performances. I know, like, overall throughout the season, there were a lot of uppercase remarks in our Quakes Discord server regarding Judd and a lot of misses and whatnot, but he's redeemed himself in the last couple of games. Ever since that U.S. Open Cup game, he's found his stride, and he deserves some recognition.
When we needed him, too. That's
when
huge.
we needed him.
When we needed him, he stepped up.
I mean, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have won versus, LA Galaxy with that assist on Buddha.
Too much grit. Too much grit.
Too much grit, baby. Number 8, he's 8 and 7 are very low for my standards, but, Ian Harks.
Oh my
Ian
god.
That's
I know.
8?
I know. 8, yeah. Well,
yeah, explain.
I think Ian Harks definitely deserves to be higher on the list, but like I said, I think I made in the first half or the first third of the season, I was a bit critical of Ian Harks. He has stepped up. But there are some better names on this list that I think deserve
There
more
better be.
recognition.
I don't even
There
know
better
if we
be.
got better
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
8 is insane.
Yeah. Okay, so it's number 7. I know Abram had him at number 2, but Bo LaRue.
Devon hates midfielders.
I'm mad. Okay.
Hold on. I swear to God, because I know Devon is a big fan of Mark Anthony K. I swear to God, if he has a either of these guys, I'm going to lose my mind.
That's who my
Big
10
Jack
should have
Skane
been.
fan over here.
Yeah.
Big Jack Skane fan. No, I'm kidding. No, I think Bo deserves to be higher on my list, which is one of my regrets that I said earlier on. But 7, Bo. I just think it's crazy that he was only signed days before the home opener, and then all of a sudden, he's playing as good as he is. I've already made my Bo LaRue comments a couple episodes ago, and
He said he was messy.
I'm not gonna get back into it. All right, I'm not getting back into it.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point. We had the guy who said LaRue was Zidane, and we got him at number 2, and then we got Lionel Messi at 7 now. So,
This list is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I think I only just put
improvise.
him on at 7 because I was struggling here at the end
It's
thinking of
fine.
players.
It's fine. Yeah, I get it.
Also, I'm mad that he's taking over minutes against Nico, but there's also that there's no influence on that though. Number
5,
6,
Nico Jacaris.
number 6, Oseni Buddha. I think in terms of progression, I think he's probably one of the most improved players on the team. Besides, Bo LaRue. But I put him at number 6 because he's actually putting in the stats and numbers to back himself as a solid MLS player, and I'm really happy with how he's performing, how he's standing up for himself and backing himself statistically as a good winger / striker.
I
when it
thought-
matters
Disagree.
most.
It's just over both the midfielders is insane.
Yeah.
The starting midfielders.
I thought that I was the biggest Buddha fan. They put him this high on the list. That's really high praise for Buddha.
Number 6, I'm gonna kind of back Ivan here, but DeJuan Jones. I think immediate impact, consistent player. Unfortunately, injured just now, but it's not even when it matters most. It's just every 90-minute period that he plays for us. He's there. He's one of the most prominent figures on the field. Like, if you're the opposition team, DeJuan Jones is one of those players that you were going to attempt to lock down at this point. It was a great trade.
I'm doing the math, and there's going to be a big name that is left off. I think I know who it's going to be, but
we'll see.
Yeah.
I think you'll be a little shocked with who I have for the top 4.
I think it may rhyme with Pico Piqueras. Let's see what it says.
Number 4, he's been a very hot topic of conversation in terms of up and down consistency. Rodriguez. And I would love to have Rodriguez make more of an offensive impact as he has. I love his key passes. I love his dribbling through the midfield. I know he doesn't follow Bruce Arena's protocol for a natural defender.
He played one game versus LA Galaxy and got cooked by Paintsill. I haven't seen him since 2024.
I like his productivity offensively, and he's had some really good defensive moments. I love the aggression he has with slide tackles defensively, and really getting underneath the skin of our offense I agree, our opposition offense.
But you just said the 4th best player of the season is a defender who's had a couple moments.
My 4th most influential player.
It's the locks. The locks. The locks.
Yeah.
I think it's deserved. It has
You look at the hair, and he's bigger than he is. Number 3, shout out Daniel. I think he would be number 1 on my list, except kind of like Saz pointed out earlier. It's just he's out. He's been out for like half the season. Every other game, he's basically been injured, and we have to rely on EEJ. And we all know how we feel about EEJ. Number 2, Chicho. I think he would also be a number 1 candidate, except for his recent injury, 2 to 3 weeks out, maybe 4. I don't remember how long it's been out. It's been too long. Come back, Chicho, please. I see you training. We need you. We need you on the front lines. I don't know if Josef Martinez is quite that player that we want up top. I know he's been a great sole 9 for most other teams, but our offense does not cook the way it does when Chicho's at the helm. And then obviously number 1, unanimous agreement, Espinoza.
Yeah.
I can't
nothing
believe
else
you
needs
put
to be said there.
Rodriguez at number 4.
Number 4, yeah.
Devon, can you remind me? Is Joseph on your list?
No, Josef is not on my list.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure I have this right. We have the number 1 rated offense in the league currently, with Martinez being a part of that. I think he's number 2 or 3 in most of these stats, and we have Rodriguez, who has played about 3 games all season, at number 4.
But this is what's in Devon's heart, and so therefore I'm not too mad. I should have put. Honestly, redoing this list, I would put Rodriguez at my number 10 instead of Jamar. I forgot. By the time I got to 10, I forgot Rodriguez was on the team.
Yeah, I forgot he was playing too because he hasn't played all season. I also forgot he is on the roster.
Yeah.
The reason he's not on mine as well is because if you look at his paycheck and how much he's taken from the team. All right, now that I've cooked everyone.
I don't know. I like Rodriguez, but obviously this hasn't been the best season for him, as Bruce said.
I think it's just the matchup between he and the main man himself, Bruce Arena. I mean, he's made such good plays over the last several seasons we've had him. I think it's just because of his offensive dribbling up through the field, and he's not that center back that he wants. Bruce is very traditional, and Rodriguez does not fit that tradition. I think he deserves more minutes, which is why he's so high up on my list.
I fully agree with the last couple seasons and the moments for sure, and the passion. 100% agree. We are not disagreeing at all. I just think he does get caught out a lot defensively, and like you said, doesn't fit Bruce's thing. He's had 4 moments this season, and it got him 4 plays. It's like,
hey, he scored a header in the home opener.
His son has pretty much been on the field as much as him.
Yeah.
When his son ran on the field to celebrate.
Yeah. Okay, so Saz, you've had a lot to say. Let's hear yours and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
see
yeah.
what we think about that.
I gotta be honest, 9 and 10 were almost interchangeable for me, but I think due to minutes, I actually agree with Devon and I have a very similar 9 and 10 here. I have Preston Judd at 10. I think he got overhated at the beginning of the season. I'm not gonna act like it was great.
Yeah.
I think what has transformed Judd is Bruce has perfectly found how to use him. We are going to put you in for 15 to 20 minutes, and you are just going to be the biggest pain in the ass to the other team and run and cause turnover and pressure. And he's got a couple goals, and he's turned it around, and I think he's been a very good impact sub, and he's really. We have said we haven't had subs in a while. We haven't had impact subs, and I get a lot of people want to impact sub, someone who's going to score. I think he has been an impact sub these last couple games.
Did you see the body-to-body tackles he made
Yeah.
versus the LA Galaxy?
Yeah.
He's literally shoving people off the field. He is the the fans' player.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I think
if you want to watch a game, you're gonna watch because of Preston Judd's actions. Like,
exactly.
Who doesn't want to go watch a WWE San Jose Earthquakes player for 15 minutes of the game?
And I just think the passion and the energy he brings is great off the bench. I can't put him much higher because I don't think he's like fully impacted the game, but I think he's found a great role and it's been great for him. At 9, I have Romney. I think he's been a big leadership in the back. Consistent as well, but he, like Devon said, there are 2 or 3 moments a game that will lead to a goal, or a goal potential. So I just couldn't put him any higher. At 8, I have Buddha. I think outside of maybe like 2 games, every game and every sub appearance has been phenomenal. It's been impactful. It's been direct. It's been great goals. It's been great opportunities. He just hasn't played very much, so it's hard for me to put him over the guys that I have in front of him, because I think 8 is a little rough for how great he's been, but the other 7 I have played a lot or like been super impactful. 7, then this is where I thought it was a little crazy to have him this low, but I think it's almost justified. At 7, I have Daniel, because I think as far as importance, I think he's almost more important than Espinoza for us, just from what we've seen and the impact he can have. But that impact has been here about a third of the season, half of the season. He's one of our highest paid players, so we can't. It's not even like we can afford to get another goalkeeper. And then he's not playing any of the time, so it just his
Accounting-wise,
yeah,
it drops him lower.
yeah. The not being available has just cost us so dearly. So that has dropped it for me. At 6, I actually have Martinez. I think the mix of injuries and I just think has a lot less work rate off the ball and defensively than we get from Chicho, Espinoza, and maybe some of the other forwards. I mean, he's been bagging away goals. I think the last couple of weeks, it looks like he either lost a bit of confidence or just doesn't seem as interested. But I still think he's doing great. I'm fully understand if 6 is too low. I wouldn't even argue. I think after 4, it gets a little crazy for me. But yeah, I have him at 6. At 5, and I think this is going to be really high for a lot of people, but I think the reasoning behind it is pretty good. I have Daniel Mooney. I think Mooney has been really good this season.
Yeah.
And I think
What?
Yeah. I think our back line, we were leaking hella goals. And then we lost pretty much all our starters. Bruno Wilson out. Rodriguez out with an injury. And then you kind of look at this guy Mooney who's played here or there, and he stepped into that role, and I think a lot of us would agree. I don't want him subbed out. Like, I honestly prefer Mooney. I think his ability to get back, his pace, and some of his reading have been really good out of the back there. I think there's been multiple games where he's been our best defender. I think Romney organizes it a little more, but I think Mooney's been so great there.
Mooney progresses too. Like, he has a really good, tenacity to go forward. So it's not just like a defensive thing. It's like similar to Rodriguez, it's big impact.
Yeah, I've been really, really shocked with Mooney, and I really like it. Also, when the other guys come back, I want him to keep his spot. I think he's been phenomenal. So that's why for me he's been number 5. Number 4, I actually have Chicho. I think he's been really, really good, and if you put him at 2 or 1, I'm not even mad at that. I think arguably this is low, and I'm not even going to defend that. I would agree. But a little bit of injury and then a little bit trying to figure out where he goes. And that's more of just like trying to figure out the team as a whole and like what we've been given. But it's been productive and it's hard to argue the numbers. I think he's been great for us.
Is that the lowest that Chicho's on any of our lists?
He's at 4 for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me see what I think Ivan had him at 2. I can double check that. Ivan,
We've had him at 3. Yeah.
I'd have had him at 2. Um, at 3, and I think 3 and 2 are interchangeable, and I wouldn't even be shocked if you say he's above this guy. I have Bo LaRue. Um, I think all the points you guys made about him, even though he's number 7, 8 on Devon's list.
We don't have to talk about
Yeah, yeah. I think he's been incredible. I think the composure on the ball, especially for someone so young at his age, has been great. And more times than not, it's been pretty good. And then at 2, I have Harks. I think he's here, he's there, he's every freaking where. Do I think he's been our second best player this season? No, you could say Chicho, you could say Daniel, you could say Lopez, which I know actually none of us had Lopez on the roster. It's because he hasn't played all season, right? I guess you could have Rodriguez.
Well, we'll talk about Lopez.
Yeah. You could say those things, but I think for my reason for Harks there, and I have said almost every week, one of our reasons we are conceding so much is the midfield tracking. I think LaRue and Harks have been put in a really, really crappy situation where it is not a formation that is great for center mids, and I think it's a lot of counterattack and running back and forth. And I think Harks just does a little bit more of the defensive rate than LaRue, and LaRue's a little more offensively gifted. I think we can all kind of sort of agree on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the amount of work he does off the ball and covering, I think these last couple games, the two of them have looked gassed. It's been a lot slower, but I think just all that work he's been doing sneakily and not getting credit for has been so impactful for us and allowing other players to play in other positions, which is why I was fine. Like, I don't have Devon on my list. I think I'm the only one. But and that's why I respected the whole like being able to play in other positions. I think that's why I got Harks for me. I think he's just been everywhere and he's been great. And then number 1, it's been the same as every other list, and I've been critical of him. And as much as I think his productivity could be even more, and as much as I think we can get even more dribbling and direct dribbling and try and find a way to get him involved, and I think he has not come back super far in defense a ton of times, even though he runs up and down the field. There is no denying the numbers Christian Espinoza displays season in, season out, the amount of miles he covers season in, season out. Even when I don't think he's having the best game, he'll still find a way to get a goal or an assist or some sort of turnover that's important. So it's hard to, again, I've been critical of him. I think we can even get more of him, but I think it's impossible to say Espinoza has not been our best player all season.
Who do you think between all the players we have is more deserving of the an All-Star entry?
No,
besides SB.
If Chicho is if Chicho's fit, then I think that Chicho is in the running for sure. But I don't know how he's doing. He's been out for a minute now. So
would you consider Bo LaRue as an All-Star vote?
No.
I don't think he's actually on the list to vote for an All-Star position.
No, and I think it's only because there's so many other center mids that are, in the sense, are Espinoza, where it's like, it doesn't matter what their game is, they're providing direct things. I think LaRue is a lot, and that's why I put him and Harks so high. They do so much work that it does not get credited game in and game out. I'm honestly shocked that Martinez isn't getting more publicity, because I honestly thought he was doing better than Chicho for a good stretch of the season.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like 2 games where he outperformed Chicho straight off, so I wouldn't disagree with that. But yeah, I agree with that. It's like a lot of the places that other teams choose to invest, like their DPs and stuff, is the midfield, and so it's hard to compete when you're in your rookie season or you're not a huge name in that aspect.
Also, so much of our play comes from the wings. I think that also hurts them. I think they do so much work off the ball that then it finds its way to the wings, and then it finds its way to the forwards. Like, we don't really play through the middle.
I don't know if you guys have seen his FB ref stats, but I think he's in like minimum 70 to 80, if not 95th percentile in most of his stats. Like,
I don't doubt it.
For his very first season, and I'm not like trying to make any justification for like an all-star voter here or anything. I'm just kind of like putting out generally for Bo LaRue, like his stats for his first season are absolutely insane.
I just want to rewind the clock a little bit, so you know that. Like,
and
off
you
the top
put him
of your
at
head,
7.
And you put him at 7, and then you put Rodriguez at 4.
Yes, I did.
Has not played all season.
I forgot he did that. I totally forgot. But I wanted to say real
Yeah.
quick, Fabian Rankel, friend of the show, obviously, he made a post not too long ago saying Christian Espinosa is the best MLS player you never heard of, something like that. I would disagree. I think that a lot of people have heard of Christian Espinosa at this point. They fear him when the Quakes are coming down.
It's the only player
I,
they know.
yeah, right, exactly. Other than Chicho now, but
Yeah.
the player that they have never heard of, who is the best player, is probably Bo LaRue. So the stats that you bring up, Devon, I think do back that up. But I think that we all know how good he is. I don't think other teams really realize just how special he is. Because of what Saz says, like we don't. The midfielders aren't the stars in our team; they're the workhorses. So it's like it doesn't look, spectacular. Or,
Yeah, you can't get a highlight reel of
If
like 1,000 passes just being made. And
if
again,
you're
yeah, that's why I said LaRue is. I'm fine with him being over Harks in my list, but like, I just like what Harks provided.
if you're like an MLS junkie, I'm sure you're well aware of how important Bolaru is to our midfield. But if you're a fan of like a team, kind of like a lot of our fan base is, just sticking around watching the Earthquakes, then for at least for other teams, then you wouldn't realize the importance of Bolaru until he plays against you, and you're like, who the hell is this guy, and why is he kicking our midfield's ass?
I think the other stat that goes against him and like the team as a whole, but we'll just say him for it, is when you look at our team, we are seventh in the league. So we're not even one of the top teams, and then we don't. It's not like we are one of the higher teams in possession stats. I believe we're even in the lower side of that. So I get like again, eye test. Anyone who watches the game, I am 100% in agreement with you. The kid has been absolutely phenomenal, stunning. But I just think the way they do all-star voting and all these things, like, that's why I'm not really shocked, and that's why I put forward SB, and that's why I put forward Chicho and even Joseph, because it's
Oh
like
yeah.
they get the stats.
You
Yeah.
guys make a good point too. Like,
Yeah.
there's other players, other midfielders that were designed to come here as DPs. And if you're against pretty much 80% of the league that hires DPs as midfielders and players who are in Bo LaRue's position, like you're not making the All-Star list, even no matter how good your stats may be.
Yeah, and to be also fair, I've seen him and Harksey like not make the best decisions, and I think they are in such a system that is so bad for center mids. Like I think they are max. I don't want to say maximizing what they can do because I think the standard of the league, and especially our team as a whole, can be so much higher. But I think they are getting a lot out of the formation and like the style of play we have. And I think that's why they're so ranked so highly on my list. But I think if it like the all-star caliber center mids, like we change from the super wide and wing style to like, can we play through the middle and then distribute it at the end?
Yeah, like a 4-3-3 staggered, like that has more of an emphasis on midfield play rather than having a 3-4-3, which is like super wide, and focusing on that. But also, I want to say that like we also have to remember that in this league, not too long ago, Frank Lampard got into the All Star team without ever playing a match. Like that's what
It's a
this.
popularity contest.
Right,
Salazar
right.
Pachulia got one in there.
So
Exactly
Yeah,
that.
like
yeah, so it's not that Bolaru doesn't isn't playing amazingly. It's just that he's not put in a position to receive too many accolades other than people who are watching the games. Which I hope that now that Quakes are doing a lot better, you would hope that pundits and stuff are watching the games more often. But I also think that there's kind of a bias of like the Quakes. All the success they have is temporary, and that's just
yeah,
kind of a
In
stigma
a,
I have.
a
I think
weird opinionated moment, I think having that beautiful goal versus Miami also raised a little more awareness for Bolaru's talent.
yeah, I also do think we have to remember like one, like the Frank Lampard situations, like there's teams that are better or worse. Like it doesn't matter what's happening. Zaha's probably going to be in that All Star team. I mean, they're doing well though, to be fair. We are seventh in the West, so that is at least. Let's just say we want to take all the teams top six. That's at least 12 teams. Let's just say everyone had three midfielders per. We can even do two. That's 24 people that could potentially be in front of him. And they're gonna go back to the Flash and whatever. Even LA Galaxy, as terrible as they've been, I think people rather see Ricky Puig and Marco Reus in that All Star game than, hey, this kid on the seventh place team that it's his first season and he's doing all right.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate reality we live in, and
I
not.
wish it was more of like a Ballon d'Or vote. Sorry to interrupt you,
No, no, no.
Abram, but I wish it was more like a one of those Ballon d'Or type votes within the league, where the players get to vote who deserves an All Star. Because I think there's some financial incentive to what players are voted in too. Like if Espinosa is voted into the All Star team, he gets a little bit of a salary boost
Oh, which he
from the league,
needs.
not necessarily from the team. But it's things like that where players who are not worldwide known, like Lampard, or I mean like people who are not Frank Lampard, who are not worldwide known, deserve that extra boost in the All Star break, the financial boost and attention when their skill set is demonstrated throughout the first half of the season.
Yeah, well said, Devin. I agree that like it's skewed in that manner. But guys, I wanted to ask you one question before we move on to talk about the match against Portland. Who is one player in the squad right now who wasn't in your top 10, but you wish was performing at a level where you could include them, and where would be the ideal place to put them? Because for me, it's not hard. It's the DP who is not DPing. It's Hernan Lopez. He had a big injury for a long portion of the season. Bruce did not like my question. I haven't put that press conference out yet because of this video issues. But basically, I asked Bruce, what did I say? I said, do you think playing Hernan Lopez on the right made him feel more comfortable rather than the other positions he played in the season? Like, I don't think he looked that good on the left. I think he looked, in my opinion, I asked that because I felt that it was a stronger performance that we'd seen because he was able to cut in from the right. And Bruce, this is what he said to me. I'm gonna do it. This is like, I don't think it makes that big of a difference, to be honest with you. And I was like, oh, like my heart just like it just collapsed because Bruce can really hurt your feelings with how he talks, but it
He's so
also
blunt, straightforward.
exactly. And but as much as I took it personally in the moment, I was also like maybe he's just like really fed up with Hernan Lopez because he did have a few opportunities to pass where he shot, and that's very frustrating. And I'm sure that Bruce might have been frustrated at that, and just Hernan's performances overall. But
Bruce's words in a press conference, and correct me if I'm wrong, Abram, but his words are like a very, very blunt knife. Like he's trying to stab you, right? And it's not going into it's not like digging into your skin, but it's now knowing that his attempt to stab you is like is basically like you're acknowledging that he's trying to kill you at this point.
so I wouldn't put it like that. I don't think he cares enough to for anything he says to be malicious. I truly believe that everything he says he believes in his own way. And to be fair, they lost that game. He wasn't in a good mood. They had to go quickly. So it's he is less inclined to change himself for the press conference for the press conferences like other coaches we've seen. Luchi Gonzalez, like a saint during press conferences. Ian Russell, a saint. They're just like they're people pleasers. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Bruce is the opposite of a people pleaser. He is just Bruce, and he's gonna say what he feels. He doesn't care if you don't like it. He doesn't care if it hurts your feelings. And obviously, my feelings don't matter. I'm just a guy.
Oh yeah.
Like like
I didn't mean it like an intent sort of way. It's just more like what he says is so blunt that it feels like it's stabbing you, but it's not.
Also, I think we got to remember Lucci in first couple years. Bruce has been around the block. He's been having to do these PR answers. He's been annoyed since he's about 200 years he's been doing this coaching thing. So, and I think just a bad loss. And he's just like, dude, I talk about this player all the time in our conferences. I obviously gotta keep some sort of PR because he's DP. I can't give you an actual answer I want to give. Doesn't make a difference. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
Doesn't affect my salary. I don't care.
I disagreed with his take. I felt like it did make a difference. As someone who's looking at the game from somebody who wants Hernan to succeed, I thought he looked better on the right. But that's neither here nor there. I want to. The question was, if you guys forgot, because I've been ranting. Who is the player that you would have wanted to put on your top 10? All things going great.
Earl Edwards Jr. I would have loved for Daniel to be injured and being like, damn, we have a really good backup goalkeeper.
That's a great answer, actually.
Yeah.
Because it would
I
have.
disagree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would have impacted the season. Like, we're in 7th now. We could be, like, a few places higher.
I almost jokingly put him at number 1 for my top 10 players, and my reasoning was going to be the Quakes always need the scapegoat, someone we all hate on, whoever it may be, each even. Jackson Ewell, Tanner Beeson, Fierro, Pellegrino, Judd. But I think in unity, everyone has come together against Earl Edwards Jr. And I was gonna say it kind of brought us all together. So that was gonna be like my reason for it, but I didn't want to commit to the bit.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it, but yeah.
And I will say, I think he has been overhated. I really do. I think there's been some of the goals where it's like the defense has really, really left him hung out to dry. But there is no, like, I do not ever, like, every shot, I do not have a feeling that it's going to be a save. Like, I hold my breath every shot.
Yeah, it's that risk. It's a high risk factor whenever we concede a shot. I think there's 2 players that come to mind for me, and Hernan is not one of them.
Okay, say both.
As much as I would love to see Hernan, be on that list and perform at his peak, like we thought we would see last season, and we expect more. But number 1, Bruno Wilson. I really thought, despite all injury he's had, I was hoping to see more of Bruno Wilson. I'm still hoping to see more of Bruno Wilson now the fact that he's not on the injury reserve list. Maybe there's a chance he can bounce back. I kind of do feel like the more minutes he plays for the rest of the season, he may pick up another 3 to 4 week injury to which we won't see him ever again. I actually have a thought that he may not be back next year just because of these injury prone moments. But I really truly do hope, because he loves the city so much, because I love him so much and his work ethic and the fact that he's a Lion, that he does, find this turnaround and gain some consistency, minutes, and keeps his health up to prove a lot of the fans happy with him.
Can I just say that despite the fact that performance-wise he has not been in the top 10 of anyone's list, in terms of looks, he's like top 2 for me. he's a handsome man, that guy, and he's tall, strong. Oh my god, I'm very jealous of that guy.
Right.
Well, segueing on that, actually, I lost my point. I think I got caught up in the image of Bruno Wilson.
He has a tendency to do that.
Yeah.
So my other guy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. It just came back to me. I hope they give him and Rodriguez the Hernan Lopez treatment, where it's like, we're gonna wait 3 games until you're healthy, and then you're gonna play 5 minutes, and then you're gonna have to wait 2 games to play 10 minutes, and then you're gonna have to wait another 2 games to play 15 minutes, because it's like, we do not want you injured again. I said during last podcast that I to Ivan, I brought it up. I'm like, do we think, and I guess I'm gonna ask you guys, do we think Bruce is punishing Hernan with these minute situations? Because I think we all kind of looked at it like, 3 months for a shoulder. What the hell? Like, and there was all the trade rumors and all that, and Bruce is like, all right, you don't want to play here? Like, here's half a game. All right, here's 60 minutes. All right, here's 65 minutes. All right, B squad, you can go play with them.
No, yeah, it's a really rough situation. I would definitely hate to be in that spot. But yeah, moving on from the.
Wait, sorry, Devon had one more.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to know what your thoughts on this guy. He did come into the season with expectations to have a better season, given his history with other clubs. Usually his second season has improved significantly per team. It just has not clicked here. I mean, it has clicked here, but he just cannot put the ball away. Amal Pellegrino. I really sincerely hope that he can find his stride for us and figure out a way to actually find the ball in the back of the net, because I don't really want to be too critical of him, because I like, our role on this podcast is more of an influential role, and I want to be more uplifting and inspiring to a lot of the players that may or may not watch. But the misses he's had this season are pretty bad. Let's be blunt. Let's be honest.
There was one I legit think it was an XG of 100, and it somehow did not go in. Like,
Yeah.
I have never seen anything like that in my life.
It was 2 feet away from the goal, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And it went.
No, it was
sky.
like on the line, and like I don't know what movie it is where they like curve the bullet, but like he did that with the shot where like it went like straight up around and like through.
Like I genuinely think he could have had 8 goals this season already, and
Yeah, he could
maybe
be-
6 of them could have been in the U.S. Open Cup, but he still had 8 solid chances, which just completely could have killed someone in one of our supporters groups.
I think he could be top 5 in our all-time goal scoring categories from these last 2 seasons.
Top
He was
five.
yeah,
All
I think-
time.
Yes. Well, it's a big drop. Yeah, I think you would be shocked how little it goes. Wando with 1 billion,
I have it
Espinoza
right
with
in
however many he has. I think Landon, and then like 5 goals. It's not. It not does not take a lot
so
to get.
he'd have to. He had to
Jeremy Bobasy's up there too.
yeah, he had
yeah.
to beat Jeremy Bobacy with 38 goals to be in the top 5.
Yeah, I think he's missed. Yeah, I think he.
I think he could have been 1/3 just the season
Yeah,
there
yeah.
if he put away his chances.
It's not as ridiculous as you think. Yeah, yeah. Two what 16 goal seasons, and I think we can all say that he probably could have got that. I was also thinking about him. I think the difference between, I think we all moved on from we look at that as a what could have been, and I think we kind of look at that with Ernon as well, and I think we look at Earl as like oh my god, this is costing us. Like, and that's
Yeah.
why I kind of put Earl there, but I think that's a totally fair statement. I think Pellegrino still does great at bringing down the ball and bringing in dangerous situations. He is a bit like slow, and it looks like he's lacking confidence. But yeah, like that end product, I think he does a lot of good things for us, and I still think there are some uses for him. But I've tried defending him, but it's a lot of misses.
I think Abram once said it, maybe not on the podcast, but playing him at the 10 is so disruptive of our flow.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I see what the idea is, but the reality isn't there, and we kept doing it. Devin, you said you brought up 2 players, and then I had another one come up in my mind, who is another 10 or an 8. Nico Shakaris is another player who I really wish was performing at the level to be able to put in my top 10. Incredible player. He has had his moments, but he's gotten injured. Not only is he not like super favored by Bruce, but he also is kind of injury prone. So that's been really rough. But if he has genuine, concrete interest from Europe, then I think that might not be a bad idea to move him on. What do you guys think?
I've he needs to go. Like, I think best for his development to be in a better system.
Absolutely. And like him being the best player of the tournament, and was it like the U20 World Cup, or I don't remember what exactly tournament it was. Him being the best player there also was a moment to prove to himself and to the rest of the world, I'm here, I'm ready for that next step, take me on. Let's do this.
It's fun. I was just having a conversation, not about Nico, but of kind of that topic the other day. There are some players who will be at the U20, U23 level and be like the players of the tournament, star-studded, but cannot make that leap to the next level. And I'm not saying that's Nico. And there's some players who, like, you look at them and you're like, okay, you were okay at this level, but for some reason, if we take you to that next level, you're going to shine, or you're going to be able to do it. I think Nico does do well, and I think he's done well in his moments here, and I think he's kind of had to adjust to things, but it is just made of glass, unfortunately. It's the adductor or the groin or the hamstring, whatever it is. Like, it's an unfortunate scenario. He's put on some muscle in the last couple years, and I honestly don't even know if that's the best thing for him to have.
He's got legs of Hernan now.
Yeah. If it, like, all this size, it's like might be too much for him. And he might just need to start doing corrective things. That's a lot. I think he's been fine. The reason I wouldn't have him on there is because he hasn't really gotten the opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it was pretty solid. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else because like a lot of them is just like haven't got a lot of opportunity. I think Bruce has gotten the most out of Victor Costa and he's playing him too much. I think Earl Edwards we were all hoping better for. I think Ernan we were hoping more of. Pellegrino, I think we all the last 2 seasons have been like, where's the guy from Norway? And like we can kind of see where it come from, but it's just I think the swagger and the confidence is gone. I still think he needs a sports psychologist, just to kind of help because I think the fans have been brutal to him.
I have a new category for you guys. Most unlucky player of the Quakes this season.
I mean, you could put Judd in there because he is somebody who, makes a lot of really good opportunities with the runs that he makes, just making space for himself in the box, but just cannot for a good portion of the season and last season just could not score. And so that's really tough. But you could also think of luck of like injury wise, and so I would say Daniel. But that's like two different kind of philosophies. Those would be my two guys.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say Paul Marie. With the amount of depth in his position, he's so unlucky to not receive more minutes. With the amount of product that he's produced for the Town FC when he's been given those minutes, and for his U.S. Open Cup runs and minutes that he's played, he's produced a lot of attacking moments, and he's been played as a winger. I think he's one of the more unlucky players who is also deserving of minutes on this team, but just because of the level of depth that we have in his position, he doesn't see the light of day, unfortunately.
I think it's tough because it's like I think if Pellegrino just saw a couple go in, especially earlier on, we might have seen him running. I think Judd not only you could make the same argument. I think Judd more than any player, maybe Espinosa is the only other one I can think of, has been open so many times in a good position, and the other person has decided to shoot instead of making one final pass. I don't know why Preston Judd I see it the most, but he finds a good position and then just can't get that final pass. Espinosa is another one that I can think of. But if I were to combine, and then like the Daniel point, you could even put that with Bruno Wilson and a couple of others. I think it's Nico because he hasn't been given the opportunity, and then as soon as he does, he gets injured. Like I think it's just it seems to be a reoccurring pattern. It's just so unlucky. I could even put that for Benji. Actually, no, I think Benji is the unluckiest player because he doesn't get a run, and then he finally gets a run, and then I'm going years back. He starts doing really well, and then he becomes a little more consistent, and then it's either an injury, and then a new coach, and then you got to rinse and repeat the whole cycle. And then he's made his way from striker to winger to wingback to fullback to new knee to who knows what. So I'd put Benji in that list as well.
I think in the last 3 years, for sure, Benji, you'd have to put him there because it's just nothing gone right. Like, he was playing better than Cade Cowell, and it didn't matter what he did. He just couldn't get in over Cade Cowell, and then he gets injured, and all the things that said.
For transitional purposes, of the unluckiest players that we've just mentioned so far, who would you like to see most play versus Portland coming up?
Daniel.
Like he could be the best player on the team with how good he is at goalkeeper. Yeah, it's very easy.
I think the rest of the team's just clicking enough, where it's like, sure, let's throw Benji in, but SP's doing fine. Or sure, let's throw Ernan in, but the other guys are scoring goals or doing whatever. Like, it'd just be more of like a good thing versus Daniel, where it's like, oh, please, Heavenly Lord, Father, be back today.
Yeah. So we thank you for bringing up Portland, Devon. We are getting low on time, so for the interest of time, guys, let's play the game that Ivan has us play, where we say for the Earthquakes to win this match against Portland, X has to happen. Devon, wouldn't you mind going first?
The city of Portland may or may not need to be nuked because we've never won away.
Don't condone. We don't condone.
In this current climate, that might be a real thing.
One eternity later.
Devin, you said that you don't think that there's a possibility that we can win in Portland.
Um, I just, with our history in Portland, I think if anyone can turn it around, and I don't know if I've even said this on years before podcast. I'm sure a lot of podcasters for the Quakes have made this remark. If anyone's gonna do it, it's this coach, because I believe in this coach. It's also Bruce Arena. He is the winningest coach in MLS history. With our current state of the team, people becoming healthy again, players now making a turn for the better, no longer in the injury report, etc. I do think we genuinely have a solid chance. If it wasn't for that, was it 2023 or 2024 moment where Bruno Wilson was sent off for the quote unquote handball moment, we should have won that game. But you know how we all feel about those pro decisions. That curse should have been broken back then, and I feel like the curse will be lifted this season. I don't know how. I don't know how, what. I think it would have to do with a good referee 90 minutes of play, honestly.
Hot take. Good refereeing would be beneficial for us. I think mine is pretty simple. I think that Chicho's back. Chicho's firing on all cylinders. I think he's going to be a big, element for us. If he's good, if he's able to play, I don't want to rush him back in. But we said 2 weeks, like 4 weeks ago, it feels like. So it's been a minute. Hopefully he's back and ready to play. Saz, what do you think?
Sorry, I haven't listened to anything. I just saw my whole career being canceled before my entire eyes. Look, I've been very critical of Phil Neville thinking he's overrated, but I think every game they've been getting a little closer to us. I think Devon brings a good point of like how healthy we're going to be, who's going to be coming in. I think also like how ready are we going to come in. I was really disappointed with Bruce in the LA Galaxy game, tactically. And I got to give credit to Phil Neville. Every game he's changed it up a little bit, and it's gotten a little bit better. I think it's a hard place for us to play, but I think there's going to be some sort of fire and desire. Actually, you know what? I said it earlier in the last weeks. I think the next couple games are going to be proven for us. I think this game is going to be telling of where we end up, whether we're like a high playoff seed or a team on the edge. Do we come into this with the mindset of like we are a team that wants to be taken serious and we want to get our first win here, or is it kind of going through the motions team? So I don't really have a prediction.
No, we don't do predictions if we can avoid them, because Devin has a little bit of a curse with that. He did say
No
that we're
predictions,
going to.
only nukes.
He said we're going to break the curse, and then I'm like, okay, it's not going to be broken now. We could get a tie, and that might not be too bad. But, regardless of all that, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys being here with me. That's been today's episode of Tectonic Takes. Saz, for as long as we can find you, where can we look?
In a house, which I
No.
all right, maybe cut that one. Yeah, you can find me here. You can find me here. Nowhere else, actually. Yeah, I don't got social media. I don't got a job. I don't got nowhere you can come and find and report me. This is all I do. So if you know what, just talk to Tectonic Takes.
Yeah.
That's who you can come and talk to.
Saz is actually just an AI that we have for
And it went
podcast
low road,
purposes.
yes.
He is not a physical, real person. He is just
Yeah.
a program that we use to have takes on podcasts.
No, for sure.
Please add Tectonic Takes, and Saz will guarantee to look at your opinions.
All right, look, it's an hour into this podcast. How many views we get per podcast, and how many of them watch all the way hour through? You know what I mean? Like,
After our comments today, the views might grow.
Yeah, probably the wrong people seeing it. But Devin, where can we find you?
You could find me on Twitter at devbo_8, and that's about the only thing I use on social media nowadays. I'm making a 2025 promise to kind of remove myself from all social platforms at the end of 2025, and Twitter and Instagram are basically the only two things that are left besides Discord. But Discord will never change. It's just Twitter and Instagram. But it's so hard to leave Twitter because, and I'm only saying Twitter. We know it's X.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to leave Twitter because I have that Nico follow and San Jose Quakes to lift my spirits up anytime I feel down. You just look at the account and it says follows you. So Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
that's really cool. I hope one day somebody will follow me. I was really excited when Crystal followed me. I was like, finally, finally, I did it. We
We can get Imperiality to send you a follow, maybe.
That'll be great. But yeah, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode of Tectonic Takes. Um, we hope that things go well against Portland, and we will be back next week with another episode. But until then, we'll see you guys next time. Go Quakes!
Go Quakes.